you made it. And today you're in for a real treat because we're talking about how to build trust in your new relationships. And I think today we're going to keep it a little bit more general. We're going to talk about personal relationships. This could be romantic relationships, friendships, even colleagues, coworkers, right? I guess these are personal, professional. I mean, listen, I think at the end of the day, we are who we are no matter where we go. So building trust can be a big topic of conversation, and I know I've struggled with it myself. And
you know what's really interesting? As you were saying that, I started to think, because I wasn't even thinking about ourselves in relationships. I was thinking this episode was going to be about how to trust other people, but now I want to make it about how we can be trustworthy ourselves.
We can do
and
both.
How we can trust others.
I love it. I think we can do both.
Yes.
So let's talk about it real quick. Dani, what is a moment in time that you've had a relationship, any kind? What just comes up for you when I talk about trust? When have you experienced that? And what did it feel like? And where were you? And who was it with?
I can remember the one that really comes to my mind is my best friend who I grew up with. Her name is Brittany. And we experienced so many aspects of life together. We have known each other since we were, I don't know, 5, 6, something. We started getting close when we were probably about 13. And throughout time, it's not even about a specific situation. We have shown such loyalty to each other that we are going to take care of each other, that we're going to show up for each other. She's celebrating her wedding this year, and I'm so excited to celebrate her. But I remember every single moment of us booking trips together, us rooting each other on to, and supporting each other through different relationships. We developed trust for each other through this consistency of being there for each other and not just talking smack about each other or to each other. Like, we've developed this mutual respect. Now we obviously have been through our own set of issues together growing up. You're different when you're 13 and 21 and 28 than, at different ages. So I think we've really grown together, and we've developed a lot of this communication, trust, all this stuff through multiple different ways.
Was there a moment when you knew that you could trust her, or was it just over time?
I think it was the consistency over time, because it wasn't anything. She's a very loyal person, and so am I, and we are both very vocal about it, but it's not even just you saying, oh, I'm a loyal person, because that could mean a million different things, but it's through the consistency of how you're actually showing up that creates that trust throughout time.
Yeah, I think, you mentioned a couple things there that are important to touch on. Communication and just the ability to know that, like, you're not talking about each other behind each other's backs. But I really think the bottom of all of it is that consistency. It's like someone could sit there all day long and, like, listen to you and be supportive. But if you don't see that over time, it's hard to build the trust. Like, I have a hard time trusting people from the moment I meet them. I don't know, I don't know who you are. I want to see who you are over time. And I truly think only certain experiences will show more of who people are. Like, and in romantic relationships, you really only can hide that version of yourself for so long, right?
I think they said it was like
3 months. Yeah.
But
so it's like 3 months.
Before we dive into it, I created a little sentence or two about trust. And I just wanted to read it because before we dive into all the stories and what we've learned, I really want to touch on this. It said, trust is the fundamental aspect of relationships, no matter personal or professional. It involves the belief in the reliability, truth, ability, or strength of someone or something. In personal relationships, trust is the confidence that one person has in another to be honest, reliable, and supportive. It's built throughout time through consistent behavior, honest communication, and mutual respect. And so as we're talking about this, I think it's really important to understand what trust is, because so many of us just are jumping into different kinds of relationships, doesn't matter what kind of relationship it is, and we never learn how to trust because we're always on guard from, betrayals in our past. And I think it's important to know that you can trust people who show up in a way that makes you feel comfortable. They're making you feel safe, and they're developing this consistent behavior with you, and that you're also doing the same. If you're not being vulnerable with other people, you're not showing up as your true self, no one's going to trust you because they don't understand you. And I think the more that you can be open and honest and vulnerable, and you show up consistently, that's how you're going to create healthier relationships. So like we were saying in the beginning, I want to talk about how you can be more of a trustworthy person, because it's not just about pointing fingers all day and being like, I don't trust anybody else. There was a thing on TikTok where it was like, when you're pointing at other people, there's 3 pointing back at you. And then someone made something that was like this, where it's like you're pointing at someone, but all the fingers are to you. So I just thought that was funny. But it's true. If we want to create more trustworthy, deeper relationships, we also have to create that ability to be trustworthy within ourselves. And if you feel like you've already had that and you've developed that within yourself, how can you trust other people, even if you've been betrayed in the past? So what else are we diving into?
Yeah, I think it's important. All of it's important, and it all matters, because I believe that the quality of your relationships affect the quality of your life. And so when I think about trust in my relationships in my life, it is a 2-person job. It is every person involved in the relationship, and it works on both sides, right? I need to be taking care of myself. I need to be showing up for myself in order to show up for other people, right? Imagine I show up and I'm like not taking care of myself, not focusing on myself at all, and I show up and I just either vent the whole time about stuff, and when you're talking, I'm just not really there. I'm not really listening. That's no fun. Like that's not a relationship, right? And I can't build trust with that. If you're doing the same thing to me, where I'm like, that person's really not listening, they're not listening to me, how am I supposed to trust? How am I supposed to feel connected?
I think we saw a quote yesterday together where
Live,
it said,
laugh, love.
Definitely not that. No, it said, I don't even know where it was. I don't know if it was on TikTok or if it was on Google. Like, I have no idea where this was from. But it was, if you're not having deep conversations, you're probably not having deep relationships. And the quality of your conversations are really the quality of like how you show up. So the deeper that you can, not just having consistently deep conversations, because that can get super exhausting all the time, but the deeper that you can go with people, the more that you can be vulnerable and open and mutually share different things about yourself, that's when you're going to be able to create these trustworthy relationships, because you're both showing deeper parts of you and you're able to understand each other. I think that's like one of the first steps, and then the consistency comes after, because you want to be able to rely on someone. You want to make sure that they're doing things in their power to not hurt you, like that they care, show that they care about you.
Trust requires you to be your full self. I saw a quote actually the other day.
Where was it?
Quotes. I don't remember where it was, but it's that if you change any part of yourself, you're essentially like, I forgot the quote, but it's something. No, I know, but it's like, if you aren't being yourself, you're changing parts of yourself, and you're not able to like show that full blossomed version of you. And then in turn, they're not really having a relationship with you, who you are. It's like a fake altered version of yourself. And so it does require you to be yourself. But then again, if we look at it even more, what else does that require of you? It requires you to work with the fear of rejection. That's the hardest part. I mean, we both have struggled with that. Like, as 2 gay women who have been rejected in our lives, and maybe if you're LGBT or part of a marginalized community, or you're a woman, or any way you've felt that rejection, we've all felt it in some way, shape, or form. And it can make you put a wall and a guard up, but I think we have to go back in and look at ourselves and remind ourselves our worth, remind ourselves who we are, and find people that also reassure you of that. And it's not to say that, you know, you should just be weary of everybody, but I do think that there are certain people that you can trust and there's certain people that you can't.
And then I think there's places,
and that's okay.
Places in the middle where even people that you trust hurt you. And there's a way to rebuild that throughout time. My mom actually talks about this a lot. She's a coach for people who have been betrayed.
She's actually a doctor.
She is a doctor. She's written books on rebuilding trust. And so I don't think it's always about who you can't trust and who you can. It's like we're all people and then we all make mistakes, but there are ways to rebuild trust. And I don't teach about, you know, rebuilding trust after a severe betrayal. That's her work, so go check her out if you would like.
But you've also experienced it very personally in your own life.
I've experienced so many different kinds of betrayals, whether it was through my parents or through, you know, coming out and
Friends.
feeling rejected through society, or friendships that have ended that leave you wondering what the hell just happened. Like, I've been hurt so many times throughout my life, but I'm still not going to go into any new relationship of any kind saying that I absolutely will not trust this person because of my past. I'll be more on guard.
Yeah.
To be like, what?
No, you are on guard. I know, like, because, you know, we're girlfriends, so we digress.
Yeah,
we talk about all of it. So it's like, you know, I can hear your perspective, like, of you saying, like, I'm not going to go into it, but you get an actual feeling in your body because I think you've experienced those things. Yeah. And now you get a feeling in your body saying, like, this is not a fit, or this isn't going to work.
I know quicker. Whether or not someone... like I can get close to someone, or I feel like I can trust them.
So that's why I think that even when you do experience hurt or pain or rejection, it's not the end of the world. What it is, it's going to help you more fine-tune more of your trusting ability. It's going to help you fine-tune more of who you are as a person, and know what is good for you and repel what is not.
Yeah, I don't think it's a bad thing that people have been hurt in the past in any kind of relationship, because it just gives you more tools to understand how you want to move forward in relationships. So I can understand how some people have so much anger towards other people, but if you want to create loving relationships or rebuilding relationships with people that you care about, there are ways to do it, and I want to make sure that you still have hope. Yeah. Whether or not you let someone go after they've hurt you, or you're trying to create new relationships, there are people that will be there for you that are not intentionally trying to hurt you. And the more that you can consistently build that energy of trust that you are sharing, the more you'll probably also invite people into your life that want the same thing. And you'll also know when people are trying to take advantage of you, because you're a trustworthy person. So you also have to be looking out for that, but you'll be getting the tools, and you'll be able to decide quicker and more easy, like who to give your energy and time to and who not to. And it'll be easy to like let go of people. There have been so many people I've invited into my life and I've let go of more quickly, whatever. I'm just talking fast. More quickly than most people would. But I have a feeling, whether or not, and I'm always going to listen to that feeling. And I'm looking for people that I can trust with my whole soul. Being a New Yorker, we see through BS. Probably also.
You and your New York personality.
No, but
No, it's true.
Yeah, I have my eyes wide open now, and I'll probably say the same thing in 20 years, being like, wow, I learned so many lessons. But I really do think the things that have hurt you give you so many valuable lessons, and we can't just hold on to the hurt and hide us. We have to learn from those lessons so that we can be able to make better decisions moving forward. I'm hurt by the things that have happened to me in my past, but I will not let it hold me back from creating new relationships of all kinds in the future, because I need that. I need love of all kinds, mostly friendships, mostly from my parents, and rebuilding love for them, and that's it. I'm trying my best to heal inside of myself and be able to project that moving forward so that I can have fun, have a good time, and enjoy, and not be so resentful. I think that's what it is, because we can hold on to resentment all of our lives, but I want to move forward so that I can be enjoying each day and not be angry at people for doing whatever it is that they have done.
I really admire that about you.
Thanks, girly.
It's helped me a lot. I mean,
we talk about relationships constantly and just how to move forward, you know, in any type, in family relationships, friendships, professional relationships. I think the most important thing about life is figuring out how to love others around you and how to be there.
You do that well.
That's something I've worked on.
And I feel like that's something you're so proud of. And I'm so proud of you because I think it's really cool how I've watched you grow over the years, and I look up to you and I continue to learn from you, and I love that you're open, and I know that anyone that comes into your life will get to experience such an amazing, trustworthy person that will really show up for them.
What about trust in our relationship?
Yeah, I mean, I trust you to the ends of the earth. Here's my life, here you go. Here's my heart, here you go.
Why do you feel like you can trust me?
Because you have consistently showed up for me. And in relationships, you show every side of yourself. So even when you are upset, even when you are going through something, I've seen time and time again, for me, when I'm struggling, you still love me the exact same. And that is unconditional. That is something that has shown me, no matter what, like, we're going to figure things out.
And remember, it doesn't mean that we're not going to hurt each other because, you know, whether...
Resiliency, baby. We come back from those things.
Yeah. Because
we build, again, and we have open communication. And if Dani does hurt me or I hurt her, more oftentimes than not, I hurt her, we'll talk about it. She'll be open. She'll ask questions. What could I do differently next time? How can I better support you? And it's the best. I wouldn't trade it for the world.
Yeah.
And we run a business together and have a romantic relationship together.
And so this requires a lot of trust with each other. We've taken chances on each other, and we've shown up for each other through these very, very hard, confusing, great, lonely, sad, high, low times.
Yeah.
But I think that's a part of it. It's like showing people throughout time. You can't trust people right away. How would you be able to do that? That doesn't even make sense. But you show that over time. You can show that to other people over time. Otherwise, you could be love bombing people, and that's not a really great thing. So,
love bombing. We could talk about that another time. I'm sure we have.
Another
Just
time.
scroll down.
Yeah, we've talked about it plenty in our last couple seasons.
Yeah.
But thank you for watching this episode all about how to build trust in new relationships.
Sounds all too familiar.
I was going to say that. That's what my mom talks about. Rebuilding trust. How to build trust in new relationships, and how to do it with grace and ease, and all of these different things. How to do it with hope. Yeah. That's what I want for you.
Real quick, make sure you're following us on Instagram, Dani and Keely Official. We started over on our Instagram, and we want you over there because every day we're writing in on our story. We are staying up to date with the latest and greatest of what's going on and how we can support you. And then on TikTok, you can follow us at Dani and Keely. So make sure you head on over, and of course you've got us here on the podcast every single week. We love you. We are so appreciative of you. Thank you so much for listening. Let us know what your thoughts are on this episode. We can't wait to hear from you.